Hi, I'm Erica, a visual communication designer here at Element 212. And today on Building Remarkable Brands, we are going to talk about how design can express certain emotions when interacting with your brand. So there are three main factors that can really demonstrate emotions on your designs within your brand. The first one is color. Color alone can communicate very strongly, even without using words. Color theory is important to understand from the very beginning, before even creating a brand identity logo. Colors have meanings and emotions themselves that you want to make sure that they line up with your brand's mission and values. Because color sends messages to your audience, and you want those messages to represent your brand accurately. You have your primary colors, your red, your blue, and your yellow. Then you have your secondary colors, your greens, your purples, and your oranges. And the color wheel expands them from there. There are so many color variations because of hue, saturation, and value of a color. Hue is just another word for color, and saturation is the intensity of how subtle or vibrant that color is. And value, which is how dark or light the color is. So each color has moods, emotions tied to them, but the general cool colors, blue, green, purple, have a calming effect, like nurturing and comforting. And the warmer colors, your red, orange, and yellows, have an inviting effect, like being excited and happiness. So color is very important and does really need to be considered when designing for your brand. But that isn't the only factor you need to consider. Another one is typography. And typography is the style or appearance of your text. For those who don't know, typography is made up of typefaces like serif, sans serif, script, decorative, and so on. Then within those typefaces, you have fonts, which is the weight, the size, and the width. So when designing and wanting to convey a certain message that would evoke a certain emotion to your audience, considering those typefaces to use are important. Like for example, a high-end fancy restaurant would want to consider maybe using a script or a serif font, or a car dealership with several sales want to convey an urgent call to action in their design. For their brand, would want to consider possibly a sans serif typeface with a bold font and all caps perhaps. All those things play a role in how your text looks and comes across to your audience. But again, there is one last component that can evoke emotion when designing for your brand. That is imagery used in your design. Images make your existing content more engaging, but need to consider what kind of photos are used. If you are trying to represent your true brand and be authentic, you want to use photos of your company. Photos can be worth 1,000 words and very powerful, but they need to be the right images in the right place. Or you could convey the wrong message if used incorrectly. So need to consider the imagery in the same way you think about when you're choosing those colors and that typography. Hope this was helpful to understand how to think about your brand and the emotions you could and want to convey to your brand's audience, and to not take this process in your marketing approach too lightly. These details do matter, and as us designers are constantly thinking about how color, typography, and imagery look and work together to evoke the correct emotions for a brand, and check out our other segments on building remarkable brands.